Are you feeling stressed out? Just drained? Well, today we are going to get into the science behind that feeling of burnout. We're going to look at your body's master alarm system, figure out why it gets stuck in the on position, and probably most importantly, what you can do to reset it.
You know the feeling, right? It's like you're just running on fumes, totally empty, even when you think you're doing all the right things. Maybe you get a decent night's sleep, you eat pretty well, but that fatigue, that feeling of stress, it just won't let up.
And look, these feelings are so common. That classic wired but tired thing where you can't relax, but you're also just bone deep exhausted, or waking up feeling like you haven't slept a wink. Oh, and that killer afternoon slump. You know, the one that no amount of coffee can seem to fix. These aren't just random feelings. They're huge signs that a key system in your body is a little out of whack.
So what's actually going on behind all this? Well, let's meet the main character in our story, your primary stress hormone. And you're about to see, it is responsible for so much more than just stress.
Okay, so this is cortisol. It's made by your adrenal glands, and it is absolutely essential for life. You could think of it as your body's built-in manager. It's in charge of your sleep-wake cycle. It manages how you use energy. It helps keep inflammation in check, and it even helps control your blood sugar. It's designed to help you respond to life, to adapt, and ultimately to survive.
And this slide shows perfectly how it's supposed to work. See, in a healthy rhythm, your cortisol is high in the morning. That's what gets you out of bed, ready to take on the day. Then it gently slopes downward throughout the day, hitting its lowest point at night so you can rest and recover. But modern life, with its endless demands and constant stressors, can throw this beautiful rhythm completely off, leaving it either stuck on high, totally flat, or just completely out of sync.
So, what actually happens when this really delicate system is pushed too hard for too long? Well, that's when things start to break down. This is the real science behind what we all call burnout. The command center for all of this is this incredible connection between your brain and your adrenal glands. It's known as the hypothalamic pituitary adrenal axis, or for short, the HPA axis. This is literally your body's central stress response system.
And here's how it works. It's like a chain of command. First, your brain perceives some kind of threat. Now, this could be a real physical danger, or it could be a psychological stressor, like a looming deadline at work. That perception triggers the hypothalamus, which sends a signal to the pituitary gland, which then sends another signal down to the adrenal glands, telling them to release our star hormone, cortisol. It's a brilliant, lightning-fast system.
The problem starts when this system gets activated over and over and over again without any real chance to recover. And scientists have a name for this. It's called allostatic load. It's the cumulative wear and tear on your body from being stuck in that state of chronic stress. So that drained, exhausted feeling you have, it's not just in your head. It is the very real physiological cost of your body working overtime for too long.
But you know, this goes way beyond just feeling tired. What are the serious, long-term consequences when this master alarm system really starts to break down?
Yeah, the research here is pretty staggering. Studies that looked at the impact of major life stressors, we're talking things like job loss, a serious illness, family trauma, they found that people who went through 4 or more of these events had a 2 to 11 times greater risk of developing a chronic disease later in life. That is the power of allostatic load.
And we're not talking about minor risks here. This is about serious physical stuff, like a higher risk for high blood pressure and diabetes. But it doesn't stop there. The connection between this HPA axis dysfunction and major depressive disorder is incredibly strong. And over time, chronic stress can even start to mess with the way we think, affecting our memory and our cognitive function.
And to really drive this point home, here's a quote from a review in a major scientific journal, Frontiers in Endocrinology. The experience of chronic stress increases the risk of developing dementia, and that individuals who experience cognitive decline in later life are more likely to have been exposed to chronically stressful events. Wow, this just highlights that managing our stress isn't just about feeling better today. It's about protecting our brains for the long haul.
Okay, so that's the problem. But here's the good news. We are not powerless here. Not at all. Let's pivot and talk about some practical, science-backed things you can actually do to help support that natural cortisol rhythm.
First up, and maybe the most important, you have to prioritize your sleep. Your cortisol rhythm is hardwired to your body's 24-hour clock, your circadian rhythm. And having a consistent wake-up time, yes, even on the weekends, is one of the most powerful signals you can send your body to help get that HPA axis back on track.
Number 2, let's rethink movement. You know, when you're already chronically stressed, sometimes piling on super intense workouts can just add more fuel to the fire. Instead, try focusing on low-intensity movement. Think walking, gentle yoga, stretching. These activities send a powerful signal to your nervous system that it's safe, that you can switch out of that constant fight or flight mode.
Third, manage your stress input. Remember how the whole cascade kicks off with the perception of a threat? Well, practices like deep breathing, meditation, or even just taking a few short mindfulness breaks during the day can literally change how your brain interprets a situation. And that, in turn, helps regulate your biological stress response from the top down.
And finally, number 4, balance your nutrition. Your cortisol system is really sensitive to blood sugar swings. Eating balanced meals with good protein, fiber, and healthy fats helps keep everything stable. And maybe take a look at your caffeine intake. Limiting those really high doses, especially when you're already fried, gets rid of a major trigger that can send your cortisol system into overdrive.
So let's wrap this all up with a final thought on how we can really start to listen to what our bodies are telling us.
I really want you to let this sink in. You are not broken. You are not failing. If you feel stressed and drained all the time, it probably just means you're asking your body to handle way too many demands at once, and its biological systems are overloaded. It's a signal, not a weakness. Your body is constantly talking to you through all these signs and symptoms. The real question is, are you ready to start listening?